welcome to Maths Made Clear with me, Miss Snowden.
And me, Mr. Burrows.
Today we're going to be exploring fractions and thinking about different ways we can use fractions in our everyday life.
Let's go!
So fractions, I think it'd be fair to say, scare a lot of people. Fractions are a bit scary to a lot of people. And obviously what we want to say, and through this video hopefully we'll do a job of making you see that actually fractions aren't that scary. They're okay. Really, if in its simplest form, a fraction is just a part of something, an equal part of something. Anything that you can divide into equal parts. So a pizza, a chocolate bar, a shape, a class, a whole country. If you can divide the population of a whole country into equal parts, then you can talk about them in terms of fractions. And a fraction is just an equal part of that whole.
So if we think about halves to start with, a half is one whole part split into two equal parts. The two equal parts each make up a half. So one of those equal parts is a half. So if we have one whole one here, we split it into two parts. We have one half and there's another half there. So we could take some counters and some beads and we could split them into two equal parts as well. So if we have 10 counters, I want to split 10 counters into two equal parts to make a half. So I could do that like this. As you can see, we've got one half here and one half here. So one half of 10 equals 5. And I could write that as a number sentence like this. Half of 10 equals 5. So we could also do this by looking at a different amount of counters. Let's get 8 counters and we're going to split them into two groups of 4. We have split the original 8 in half. We could show the half written like this again, and we could say that half of 8 equals 4 because one of our groups, one out of two of the groups we've made has got 4 counters, and that is a half. So half of 8 equals 4.
Great. So we don't actually have to just look at one of those equal groups. We can look at more of them. So here we have 12 counters. And I'm going to split those 12 counters into 3 equal groups. Here we go. So we've got 3 equal groups. And actually, what I can talk about when I'm splitting these up is I can say that I'm making thirds. So when we split something into 3 equal groups, we have thirds. So we've divided the original 12 counters into 3 different groups. When we look at one of those groups in particular, well, that would be 1/3 of 12. One part that we're looking at, and the 3 parts that the whole has been split up into, in this case 12 counters. And actually what I can see is 1/3 of 12 is 4. But then what if I wanted to look at 2 of the groups? Well, now I would have 2/3 because I'm looking at 2 parts of the 3 equal parts that's been split up. So when I count up those 2 groups, I've got 4 and 8. So 2/3 of 12 equals 8.
Okay, so if I wanted to then look at comparing fractions, I could have a problem surrounding different fractions. So imagine that Ron had 1/3 of £30 in his bank account and Mo has 1/2 of £30 in his. Who has more money? Well, I know that Ron has 1/3 of 30. So if I divided that £30 into 3 equal groups, with 10 in each group, I would find out that 1/3 of £30 is 10. So Ron has £10 in his bank account. Mo has half of 30. So if I divided 30 into 2 equal groups, I would have 15 in each group. So I can see that Mo has £15 in his bank account. So now I can work out who has more money. Ron has £10, but Mo has £15. So I can see that Mo has more money in his bank account.
So we can look at splitting up fractions in numbers and with money, but also we can do it with shapes or just objects. Here I've got some Play-Doh, and with my children what I tend to do is I tend to pretend that they're pizzas. So I've got 2 whole pizzas here. Delicious, aren't they? What I'm going to do is I'm going to split each of those pizzas up in half. So I'm going to cut one of my pizzas in half, and then I'm going to cut the other pizza in half. So now I've got 2 pizzas, each split up into halves, each split up into 2 equal bits. Now I'm going to have a look at one of those pizzas and I'm going to split it in half again. So I'm going to make another cut. And what I want to look at is the fact that the pizza that I've only cut once, I've got 1/2 of that. And on the pizza that I've cut twice, the same amount of area of that pizza is now 2 parts of 4. So this is what we call an equivalent fraction. A fraction that's expressed differently, write it down differently, but is actually the same. 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. I can then cut that pizza again into halves again. So once I've done that, I will have pieces of 8. And if again I look at my 1/2, 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4, and it's also equivalent to 4 parts of 8, 4/8. So 1/2 is the same as 2/4, is the same as 4/8.
Sometimes fractions get a little bit more complicated because we have a combination of a whole number and a fraction. So now we're going to look at how we would go about adding fractions in this way. So, for example, what if Sophie and Robin each had 1.5 pizzas? How much pizza have they got altogether? So we've got 1.5 plus 1.5. Well, they each have 1 whole, so we can split that. 1 plus 1 equals 2. They also have 1/2 more. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 2 halves, and 2 halves equal a whole. So now 1.5 pizzas plus 1.5 pizzas equals 3 pizzas.
Okay, so let's go for something even trickier. How might we find out 5/8 of something? So let's take this example. We're sharing 56 sweets with 5 friends who turn up at a party, but we want to save some for 3 other people who we think might turn up. So that means that the 5 people that are here and the 5 people that we think might turn up means that we need 8 different groups. So we've got our 56 sweets. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to divide our 56 into 8 equal groups. 56 divided by 8. Hopefully we've got our times table knowledge there to let us know that 56 divided by 8 equals 7. So that means that 56 divided into 8 equal parts is 7. So 1/8 of 56 is 7. But we're not looking for 1/8, we're looking for 5/8. Well, how can we do that? Well, we're going to add together 5 sevens. Remember, 1/8 of 56 is 7, so it's going to be 5/8. So it's going to be 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, or 7 times 5. And that equals 35. So that means that 5/8 of 56 equals 35.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. We really hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask your child's class teacher. We're always here to help. And watch out because there are some more videos coming soon. Bye!
Bye-bye.